What are your feelings about heels having merchandise like t-shirts? Should fans be encouraged to buy items promoting wrestlers that are supposed to be hated? I know Jericho didn't like having shirts during his heel runs, for example.
Well, boy, once again, this is a generational answer, because in the old days, no, of course they shouldn't. And if they're, as a matter of fact, when we had our first meeting with Vince, me and Bobby Eaton and Dennis Condrey in 1986, and didn't go because he spent most of the time talking about how we'd have dolls. They didn't have action figures yet. They were still dolls back then. We'd have dolls. And we're like, why the fuck would anybody want to buy anything of us? We are the heels. That's the whole idea. It wasn't going to be a good fit there. But no, at the time where the idea was to get heat on the heels, Lawler got away with a little bit of it in Memphis because he did his records. He didn't sell a lot of pictures stuff when he was a heel, but he did his records and things. But he did it almost like that, with that wink that he could get in his eye to me, hey, I'm a big star, and people would buy him and break them in front of him. He sold as many of those as he did people that wanted them. But now there's no reason not to, because the people are going to like the heels a lot of times better than they like the baby faces, because the heels are dirtier and everybody knows it's bullshit. So it's the thought process has completely, reversed. In those days, I promise you, if a heel did sell merchandise, it was the shit that the people could tear up and try to make him mad. The point is that not only would a heel not have sold merchandise in the old days, but nobody would have wanted to fucking buy it anyway, except if it was a gimmick. But now there's no point in not, because, the heels are more popular than the baby faces. It's just the way that things have changed. So it depends on what era you're talking about that, and I appreciate what Jericho was doing. But at the same time, he's still selling Fozzy shirts. You can't. And actually, while I'm just on the subject, I loved the whole idea that he was able to shoot that angle, show up where people never thought he'd be, drag the fucking idiot through a fucking match by his nose, get a shit ton full of money, and make people believe something for once. And then they both went on the internet and talked about how great it was that they made everybody believe it. What the fuck?
It's interesting with wrestling, too. It's the only form of entertainment where the star wears their own T-shirt everywhere they go. Like, you don't see rock bands wearing their own shirts. They wear other bands' shirts or things they like. Wrestlers are the only ones who use their bodies as billboards all the time.
But actually, I have no idea why that rock stars wouldn't wear their own shit. Because they're supposed to be into and full of themselves, and they're supposed to be pushing and selling the merchandise.
I don't know. If I was Hulk Hogan, I would feel a little bit like a douchebag if I'm walking around town wearing a Hulkamania shirt.
Well, I don't think that Hulk Hogan shares your opinion, because I've seen him in a bunch of Hulk shirts, and I don't think he minds being a douchebag.
Well, there you go.
But hey, I wear the Cornette face shirt.
You don't mind being a douchebag?
Well, I don't mind that either, but also But here's the thing. It doesn't say Jim Cornette. It just has the Cornette face.
What's the most cringeworthy shirt you've seen a guy wear of his own?
Oh, my gosh. God, I hate to, once again, on the sperm of the moment, I hate to elect one cringeworthy I'll tell you, just all of the merchandise that WCW invented or produced or perpetrated, might be a better word, in the 1989-1990 period was just fucking rotten. Do you remember and not just like the fluorescent colored dynamic dude shit, but they made Sting shirts uncool and looking like you'd have to be a fucking, a gay Puerto Rican under 120 pounds on the South Beach in Miami to wear this fucking shirt. And Sting's fans were 350-pound corn-fed farm boys from fucking Des Moines. But just all the Four Horsemen stuff, and weird angles and graphics and shit and just odd colors. That was the worst merchandise. And they sold, nobody made any money on merchandise in WCW for the first several years.